Benjamin's come off the bench and got a goal. Can you just talk about his impact and what he's been like?
We got some good forwards, so it's one of those decisions that you know we got to try and get right. But I've got no problem with Ben, and he hasn't got an issue. He obviously wants to play, but I can't speak highly enough of how he's been and the work he's putting in and his attitude to come on and do what he's done again. I thought he's finished just with so much confidence and belief.
Manchester United fans, we are back to winning ways, and this is not hype. This is reality staring everyone in the face. 10 Premier League games unbeaten. We are the only unbeaten team in 2026. 5 wins from our last 6 games under Michael Carrick. That's 16 points from a possible 18. And now we find ourselves right back where we belong, inside the top 4. 3 clear points ahead of Chelsea. We are ahead of Chelsea and Liverpool in the top 4 race, after months of being called the worst club in the league, the most criticised team this season. Think about that for a second. The same Manchester United that was written off, mocked, and laughed at is now sitting above the defending champions and even the so-called world champions. Football has a funny way of humbling people. Now let me be very honest here, because honesty matters. We were not at our best today. This was not a very beautiful performance, it was not free-flowing football, and it was not a game where everything clicked. We struggled at times, and you could see that clearly. But there is something I have always said, and many people thought it was just talk, maybe even a joke. Today, it played out right in front of our eyes. Sometimes, formations and lineups alone will not win you football matches. And today proved that perfectly. What stayed constant throughout the game was not tactics or patterns, but fight. These players fought for every ball. They defended together as a unit. I was genuinely surprised, in a good way, to see players like Cunha and Mbeumo tracking back, defending wide areas, and stopping crosses, especially against an Everton side we all know is very dangerous on the ball, especially from wide areas and outside the box. That commitment, that willingness to suffer, is what carried us through. This is where that old football ideology comes alive. When things get tough, a strong defense can win you matches and even titles. And to those asking why Manchester United didn't dominate Everton for 90 minutes, why we didn't tear them apart and control the game from start to finish. Now let me ask you this. Did Arsenal dominate Wolves for 90 minutes? Arsenal are at the top of the league and Wolves at the bottom. Arsenal are stacked with quality, yet even after going 2 goals up, Wolves still fought back, scored twice, and got a draw. That tells you everything about this league. The Premier League is now at a critical stage. At this point, it takes more than just football ability to win matches. It takes mentality, it takes resilience, it takes fight, it takes intelligence, and it takes proper game management, and this is exactly where Michael Carrick is making the difference. Now when Carrick substituted Ahmad, a lot of Manchester United fans were worried, and that reaction was understandable. But the truth is this, we were not breaking their defense. Yes, in the pre-match show I clearly said I wanted Sesko to start, and as the game went on, it became obvious why. Our attack was not connecting the way it should. And this is not something new. It has always been difficult playing against teams that sit in a low block, stay compact, and look to hurt you on the counter. Everton were no different. At that point in the game, we didn't have a striker to consistently cross the ball to, and for a long time we didn't even have a corner to apply real pressure. The spaces were closed, the middle was crowded, and Everton were comfortable doing exactly what they came to do. Carrick read the game perfectly. He knew Everton hadn't scored the goal they wanted, the goal that would allow them sit deep all game, so sooner or later, they would have to come out and play. That's when he changed everything. He shifted us into a midfield block, even dipping into a low block, removed Ahmad for Sesko, and pushed Mbeumo to the right. The moment that happened, the entire dynamic of the match changed. Everton could no longer sit comfortably. They did not want crosses coming into the box for Sesko, so they were forced to step out and engage us higher up the pitch. And the moment they did that, I knew we were going to win this game. All it took was one moment. One beautiful pass from Cunha into space, one explosive run from Mbeumo, and we all know what Mbeumo brings on the counter: pace, directness, and composure in front of goal. That is exactly why Carrick kept him on the pitch. And once Mbeumo got into that position, the rest was inevitable. He did what he does best and squared it perfectly for Sesko to finish. Just like against West Ham, if Mbeumo isn't scoring, he is assisting. That substitution wasn't panic, it was pure game intelligence. But none of this would have been possible if we don't give huge credit to Lamans. His performance cannot be brushed aside or treated as normal, because it was everything for us. He made several important saves, yes, but more than that, he gave us control and belief at the most dangerous moments of the game. Everton had 10 corner kicks, and every single one of them was chaos. They kept crowding the box, constantly backing into the goalkeeper, trying to make life absolutely unbearable for him. That is one of their biggest weapons, and they executed it over and over again. But Lamans stood his ground. He didn't panic, he didn't hide, and he didn't shrink. He commanded his area, attacked crosses, punched when necessary, caught when possible, and made sure Everton never felt confident from those set-piece situations. I'll say this clearly and honestly, if this was before the Lamans era, we would have conceded from a corner. That is the plain truth. Those kinds of situations used to cost us, especially against physical teams like Everton. What makes this even more impressive is how quickly he has adapted. He came into the Premier League and immediately matched the pace, the intensity, and the physicality of the league. That is not easy at all, especially in a league where opponents deliberately target goalkeepers during corners and aerial duels. But Lamans didn't complain, didn't look uncomfortable, he embraced the battle. In a game where margins were small and pressure moments were constant, his presence gave the defense confidence and gave the team the platform to win. He did his job, and more importantly, his best was enough. But that was still not the full story, because the defense made all of that possible. We defended like a team that didn't even want to rely on the goalkeeper, like a team that said nothing is getting through us. From the centre-backs to the full-backs, and even down to the wingers, everyone did their job defensively. Everyone bought into the same idea, everyone understood the assignment, and everyone executed it with total commitment. This was not one of those games where we sat back and hoped the goalkeeper would save us. No. We blocked shots, we won duels, we tracked runners, we covered spaces, and we threw bodies in front of the ball. That collective defensive effort is exactly why Everton found it so hard to turn pressure into clear chances. Maguire and Euro stood out massively. It wasn't an easy game at all, constant aerial battles, physical duels, second balls, pressure after pressure. But they stayed composed and aggressive when it mattered. They read the game well, they cleared their lines, and they refused to be bullied. That kind of performance doesn't always look flashy, but it wins you football matches. And at the end of the day, that is what matters most. When it gets ugly, when it gets hard, when you're not at your best, just get the 3 points. That's the mark of a serious team. It was also very clear in this game that our midfield is still not stable, and teams are finding it far too easy to run through us at certain moments. This is something I've always said, and today only confirmed it again, we are not a finished product yet. Yes, the results are coming, yes, we are winning games, but there are still obvious gaps that need to be addressed if we truly want to take the next step. For me, it's very simple and very clear. We need about 2 midfielders, 2 wingers, and 1 left back in the summer. And this is not about squad depth just to survive or compete for top 4, this is about building a team that can properly contend for the Premier League and the Champions League. We are not spending money to hang around, we are spending money to dominate. If you really think about it, if we had turned just 4 of those many draws we had earlier in the season into wins, we would already be in the title conversation right now. That alone tells you how close we actually are. So the idea of competing for the league is not unrealistic at all, it's very possible, but only if we fix the obvious weaknesses. We clearly need prolific, dangerous wingers. Players who can consistently beat their man, stretch the pitch, and hurt teams that sit deep in a low block. Right now, that is one of our biggest problems. On top of that, we need midfielders who can protect the middle better and help us keep possession, because when teams bypass our press, they get through us far too easily. And finally, we need real competition for Luke Shaw, because we also need more attacking threat and consistency from that left side across a full season. So yes, it was a good win, and yes, the 3 points are massive, but we have to be honest about where we are. There is still work to be done. And that's why, for me personally, Sesko has to start whenever we play teams that sit deep. The reasons are very clear. If Sesko is on the pitch and teams decide to sit deep, we can punish them with crosses and cutbacks all game long. But if they decide to come out and play, then we punish them on the counter-attack. Because Sesko is not just a physical striker, he is also fast and intelligent in his movement. On top of that, his hold-up play and one-touch passes help us keep possession higher up the pitch. He brings others into the game, he relieves pressure, and he gives us multiple ways to hurt the opposition instead of just one. That flexibility is crucial, especially at this stage of the season. So overall, good result, important win. But also a clear reminder that this team is still evolving, and once we fix those remaining pieces, we can truly become something special.